The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Thank you, Tally Olson, and it is opening day. Baseball season is here. I'm Ralph Tycho, the Tokin Jew in Alameda, California, and I'm a happy guy today. One of the reasons I'm really happy is that Jerry Feitelberg is here. Jerry, opening day, what do you say?
Oh, what an exciting day. I always look forward to it. Unfortunately, because of the lockout, it's been delayed about a week. Otherwise, I might have even tried to go out to the A's to see their opening day. I may not have been able to walk as well as I did in the past, but I would have tried to go out there. It's just, there's an excitement in the air. All the players get the ones that want to look really nice, they get haircuts. Everything is nice and shiny. The guys that work in the clubhouse know they're going to get introduced. The trainers are going to get introduced, and it's just a renewal, a rebirth, and it's springtime, and it's baseball. It's the start of a new season, and everybody starts 0-0. And while the A's have had lost a lot of players, there's renewed hope that maybe the young guys will be fine. So they'll be diamonds in the rough, and they might have a great season. We don't know. That's why they play the games.
I know the A's are famous for rebuilding, and the 17th time kind of galls me. But that's all right. That's all right. I don't think we'll have them to contend with much longer. It looks like they're going to move to Vegas. And so enjoying this opening day for them is paramount. They screwed it up, and I don't know what to tell you. I've heard all the objections of why baseball won't fly in Vegas. I think it will, and gambling will be a big part of it. They'll incorporate slot machines in the mezzanine section, and they'll dome a stadium. And as far as the franchise is concerned, not the fans, they've never been of concern. I would say that the franchise is better off. What do you say to that?
Well, it's possible that it could be successful, and they can have all the bells and whistles at the ballpark if they build it with, as you say, slot machines. And as you know, over the last couple of years, you've had you have the fantasy baseball leagues, and they morphed into DraftKings, and they have betting on baseball. They have online betting on baseball. They have all the books at the big. You can go online and bet at all the casinos in Las Vegas. The cardinal rule, though, for baseball players is you don't gamble on baseball. You get a lifetime suspension if you get caught gambling. So, or betting on your team or some other team, because they want to keep baseball away from gambling. You go back to 1919, but yeah.
Good time to clarify the Pete Rose suspension, and you mentioned it's against the law to bet.
It's against baseball rules to bet on baseball.
Okay. His contention was he never bet against his team. And I say that is poppycock, because if you bet in a pattern, when you don't bet, you're telling the bookies that you don't believe they'll win. And
that's right.
That's why Pete Rose continues, notwithstanding that he's never copped to it, and he's a degenerate, but that's why he's not in the Hall of Fame. In the Hall of Fame.
Well, he also lied. he also lied about it. He lied about it and denied it. And they had him dead to rights. They had the betting slips. They had the guy that was placing the bets. They had all the information for it. Had he come clean and gone to Gamblers Anonymous or whatever, it was a human failing, they would have, and he'd been honest about it, they would have forgiven him. And he still may not have been in the Hall of Fame. But remember, didn't he go to jail for a while, and then he was in a halfway house, and he was rehabbed.
It was a three-quarter way house because he's an overachiever. He's always been an overachiever. That notwithstanding, my point was that he was guilty of what he was suspended for. And it was a fair suspension as far as baseball was concerned.
But nonetheless, Ralph, the Hall of Fame is a museum. It chronicles the great success of the players through the years. And Pete Rose had more hits than any other player in Major League Baseball history.
The hypocrisy of the Hall of Fame is a podcast in itself. So I will try to keep it upbeat today. And so we can't talk about the A's.
Well, we can talk about the Giants. They're opening. I believe they're opening tomorrow.
I would love to talk about the Giants, but first, your boyhood team, the Boston Red Sox. Talk to me about going to opening day for the first time, whenever it was for you, at Fenway.
Well, opening day in Boston, if you could get a ticket, it always sold out. I like to go the next day. I remember in 1962, the Red Sox weren't very good in those days. Ted Williams had retired after the 1960 season. Carl Yastrzemski came on in 1961. And I believe in 1962, they had made a trade for Dick Stewart, who was a slugger with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So I think I went the second day. And the second day, there was maybe 10,000, 11,000 people in the park in those days. It was probably a cold day. And sometimes you had nice weather in April. Sometimes it snowed in April in Boston. Sometimes it was nice. All I remember is that Dick Stewart came with a reputation of not being a good fielder. He had the nickname of Dr. Stonefingers. And so all I remember, I'm sitting on the first base side, and there's a pop-up, and it's a pop-up on the first base side in foul ground, maybe about 4 feet just to the left of the first base bag. Stewart drifts over, and he puts his glove up, and the ball lands 2 feet to his left. You couldn't even catch a simple pop-up, and I was in absolute hysterics. Baltimore, I think, was good, a very good team at that time, and the Red Sox lost that day. But opening day, as I said, opening week, opening day, you always want to get off to a good start, and we've seen in the past teams get off to a good start, and then they fade during the season because it's 162 games. It's a long 6-month season. They're playing baseball every day. But at opening day, everybody is 0-0. They haven't lost a game yet. The young players are excited, especially the rookies. They're getting to see what it's all about. Tomorrow, the Red Sox are opening their season in Yankee Stadium. And it's very rare that the Yankees and Red Sox open against each other. But can you imagine? It's Red Sox Yankees. You got to be up for that. That's must see TV. Added to the thrill of opening day. It's the second best rivalry in baseball history. The best is the Dodgers and the Giants, but you could make a case for the Yankees in Boston. I'm prejudiced with the Giants and the Bums, the Jinx and the Bums. Well,
but
you got to remember that the Yankees ate the Red Sox lunch from 1920 until 2004 when the Red Sox finally broke through and they won a playoff series against the Yankees and they went to the World Series. Every time they met in the series, the Yankees would beat them in a playoff series.
Let's tell everybody how long that is. There were avid Red Sox fans who were born and died, and I mean died in the wall. Red Sox fans, no pun intended, and they never got to see a championship. What was it like for you? What was it like for you? Your first championship.
My first memories of the Red Sox being in the World Series was in 1946, and they lost the World Series in Game 7 to the Cardinals. Enos Slaughter scored all the way from first base. You know, Johnny Pesky is accused of holding the ball too long and all that stuff. But and so it took until 2004 when they went 86 years without winning a championship, from 1918 to 2004, and it was very emotional. In the year before, in 2003, they were playing the Yankees in a playoff series, and they were Game 7, and it went to extra innings, and Tim Wakefield came in and he threw a pitch to Aaron Boone in the bottom of I think it was the 11th, and Boone hits it into the stratosphere. As soon as they hit it, I turned the TV set off and said, "Oh, damn it!" And same old stuff. So it happened in '86. They were up 3-2 on the Mets. And they have Stanley's wild pitch, and then Buckner's era, and they lost the final 2 games to the Mets. Same thing. But in 2004, it all changed, and so. The Red Sox fortunes, and what was so special about the 2004 World Series, and they had to play the Yankees in the American League Championship season, and they went down 3-0. And I think Game 3, they were pounded 19-8 by the Yankees, and the Yankees were in Fenway Park, and I'm saying it's going to be a sweep. It's going to be a sweep. And then in Game 4. Dave Roberts steals second base. He scores on a single. I think Bill Miller singled to drive him in to tie the game. Big Papi wins it, and then they won the next 3 games. They made baseball history as the only team to come from a 3-game deficit to win the league championship series, and then they swept the St. Louis Cardinals. So to win their first championship since 2008, since 1918. So in 2005, and you talked about people living their entire lives. In 2005, I went down to spring training, and my former roommate from college met me there, and we got passes, we got credentials for both the A's and the Giants while we were down in Arizona. And I was at a Giants game. I think the Giants were playing the Mariners in preseason, and I had my camera, and I was doing TV for Alameda TV. I had the credential through Alameda TV, and we're sitting in the stands, and there was a young man in back of me, and we started talking. And he was a Red Sox fan, and he said he was at the final game where the Red Sox beat the Cardinals in the 2004 World Series. And so I got out my camera and I did an interview with him, and he was saying, I said, "How did you get to St. Louis to see the game?" And he said, "Well, I work for this company. It's headquartered in Los Angeles, and I'm working in Boston. And my boss was a Red Sox fan, and he said we're going to have the company meeting in St. Louis. Well, he said so we flew out to St. Louis to meet him for the meeting. He said, well, we're not having the meeting, we're going to the ball game. So, he's sitting at the ball game. Yeah, he's sitting at the ball game, and it's in the inning where either the bottom of the ninth, when the Cardinals were up to their last at bats, and Keith Folks was pitching for the A's, and he starts crying, and his boss says to him, "Why are you crying?" He said, "My father died last January. He never got to see the Red Sox win the World Series. This is for him." And so it was a very touching story. And there are stories of people who took the newspaper and went out to the cemeteries and placed the newspaper at the gravesite of so many fans who had lived their entire life and never saw the Red Sox win a World Series. So that was very, very emotional. Up in Boston, as you know, all through New England, baseball is a religion. When I was a kid, or even as an adult, you'd go somewhere. The first question is, what did the Sox do today? What did the Sox do? Did they win? Did they lose? And the fans are very, very knowledgeable. The fans in New York are knowledgeable. We have a funny story. In the year 2000, my buddy's son was getting married in New York City, and his brother-in-law's brother was an executive with the Mets, and he got us four tickets at Yankee Stadium, and we sat about 12 rows back of home plate in Yankee Stadium, and it was quite, as I remember, they were playing the Toronto Blue Jays, and it was quite a matchup. Andy Pettitte was going for the Yankees, and David Wells was going for the Blue Jays. And battle of lefties, and it went into extra innings before I forgot who won the game. I think the Blue Jays won it. But we were there, and the four of us were there, and the guys in back of us, they got into conversation with us, and they said, "Where you guys from?" "Well, we're from San Francisco." And they said, "You guys from San Francisco, you don't know anything about baseball." And we're laughing. It was just a great baseball experience.
I hear it in your voice. Your love for baseball is so intense, it rivals mine, and it's great. It's just a celebration today. Nothing can go wrong. Win, lose, or draw. They're starting. Breaking the ice. The bell rang, so to speak. Who do you think is going to win it all? If I had to ask you, the World Champions 2021.
Well, it's really the American League East has got, I think, four teams. The Blue Jays have got a power-packed lineup. If they have any kind of pitching, they're going to be good. The Yankees are going to be good. The Red Sox are going to be good. I mean, the Red Sox needed 2 more wins to go to the World Series last year. So they've got a power-packed lineup. Depends on their pitching. The Tampa Bay Rays are going to be good. So they got 4 teams. The Orioles are rebuilding. In the American League Central, the White Sox look like they could be the real deal. And the Detroit Tigers have made some moves. The Twins have made some moves to improve the team. I think the White Sox will be the best. And in the AL West, boy, it's hard. Houston lost Carlos Correa, but they got some good pitching. And they got their right fielder, Kyle Tucker, is a budding star. They're going to have Michael Brantley back. Bregman is back. Altuve is back. Yuri Gurriel is back, Yuli Gurriel. And they say that their shortstop Pena is a budding star, so they could be a force in the American League West.
And they've got an intangible in Dusty Baker. This may be his year to break through. And I'm not a big Houston fan. I'm not a big Texas fan. I'm not a big Texan fan. But you know what? I'm rooting for Baker.
Yeah, Dusty's worth rooting for. Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So there are a lot of contenders in the American League. It should be a very good, very, very interesting year. In the National League, of course, the Braves are the returning World Series champs. They lost Freddie Freeman, but they got Matt Olson. So they're going to be contending. They're a good team. The Phillies are rebuilding. They would love nothing better to it's been a long way since they've been in the World Series. I think the last time they were in, they lost to the Yankees in 2009, so it's been a long drought for them. And, of course, you got the Mets, and the Mets got a payroll of $280 million. They got Max Scherzer, who's having a hamstring issue. Jacob deGrom has a scapula issue. He's probably out for 4 weeks. Taijuan Walker, I think, has an ankle issue. So their pitching is a little bit up in the air, but hopefully, the Mets. Chris Bassett's added to the team. He'll give them some pitching depth. So the Mets got their work cut out from them. They got an owner who's willing to spend money like it's going out of style. In the NL Central, I don't know. I don't know who would be the best team in the NL Central. The Cubs aren't that good anymore. Cincinnati.
Cardinals are good every year.
The Cardinals will be there. Yeah, Adam Wainwright's pitching today, I think, in the opener. And in the NL West, you got the Dodgers and the Giants. The Giants won 107 games last year. Unfortunately, the Dodgers beat them in the playoffs on that called third strike, which was not a strike. It was a foot outside, but, that's the way it goes in baseball. And San Diego's got a huge payroll, and they've made some moves. They've made a trade for Sean Manaea with the A's on Sunday to bolster their pitching. They got Bob Melvin, the former A's manager, and Melvin gets the most out of the guys. He explains their role to the players. The players love him. So they got a great baseball man down in San Diego, and now it's up to the players to perform. They got Manny Machado. Fernando Tatis is on the DL for a while because I think he has a broken wrist or something along. I think it's a broken wrist. So he's going to be out, but they're loaded, and they could be a force. So there's a lot of good teams in baseball. There's always a lot of surprises. There's teams that you expect to do well that don't do well. You got teams that are picked to be terrible, and all of a sudden they got a lot of young talent, and the guys come through and they surprise everybody. And that's the magic of baseball. You got 162 games. Things can happen. You never know what's going to happen. You go out to a ball game, you could see a perfect game one day, or you can see a triple play, or you could see something that you've never seen before. And it's just amazing, all the things and all the excitement that you have over the years. When I kind of enjoyed a couple of my favorite stories covering the A's over the years was the 19-inning game that they played with the Angels way back. I forgot what year. It was 2012 or 13, somewhere in there. And the game finally ended with Brandon Moss hit a home run to win it. The game went 6 hours and 23 minutes, and it was about 20 minutes of two when the game ended. And the next day, I was in the clubhouse, and I was talking to Brandon Moss, and he said he was so tired at 20 minutes of 2 in the morning. He said, when I hit the ball, I was just saying, get out of here. I want to go home. Get out of here. Of course, the ball
It wasn't
He's a player.
winning so much. It wasn't winning so much. It was getting the hell out of there.
Yeah, exactly. It's time to go home. I'm tired. Human
right,
reaction. You know, these guys aren't robots. They're human beings.
Jerry, Michael Duke is back from spring training, and you, me, and him are going to meet up in the next couple of weeks in Alameda, Five Guys Burgers down by the mall. What do you say?
Oh, it sounds like a winner. I do have a dental appointment on April 20th. I don't know if I think it's a night game on the 20th. I think. I don't know. I don't have a schedule in front of me. So.
Okay, we'll firm it up if that's the day. And I just want to thank you for being here. And I don't mean on the show, being here. You're important in my life, Jerry. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ralph. I am going to go into San Francisco. I'm going to pick up my credential with the Giants on Saturday. I'm going to take the train up to San Francisco and see. And I'm going to try and walk. It's a pretty good walk from the 4th Street station where the train stops over to the stadium. But it's only 1 block. And going to give my legs a good workout and just stay for a short time and then come on back home. Should be exciting. See the Giants play game 2 of the season. Not bad, huh?
Not bad at all. Stay healthy, Jerry, and regards to your lovely lady, Isla, and adios. Okay, take care, my friend. Bye-bye now. Thank you for listening, everybody. Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. I'm Ralph Zeke Tycho, as a matter of fact, the Tokin Jew. Adios. Bye-bye.
The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.